Hello forum members, this is G47 for ZeroPointFuel. Forum members, as I promised, this will be my first motor run, and I got good news for you. It's actually running on the second test that I did. I found the minor problem the other day when I did my first test, and I got the wheel running. So this is going to be a full bore out video on actually showing it. Now I'm going to warn you, it's going to get noisy. The wheel, once it starts humming, makes a lot of noise, so I'm going to have to talk over the humming. I'm going to be shooting around different things, so it's going to be a little jittery. I'm going to be going to the meter box, I'm going to be going to the wheel, I'm going to be taking tachometer readings, and I'm going to be taking heat readings off the chips with my little heat gun. And we're gonna show you the wheel running. The only thing I don't have working, and I can't figure it out, and I'll do that later, is I'm not getting any amp readings. I don't know what I'm doing. Even my clamp on meters aren't working, or I'm not getting a decent reading. So I'm sure that's something simple. But for the most part, and the most important part, is that the wheel, write this down, I got 9 coils mounted, 9 coils are running, and we're gonna give it a spin. Let's just start off with the basics. Input battery bank is at 12.6. However, I'm not using the input battery bank. We're going to be using the Variac transformer to control the voltage. And this is actually going to be pretty cool because I'm going to start it at 80 volts and I'm going to bump it up slowly to 110 volts so you can see it stepping up. Which means I'm not going to be using the power inverter connected to the input battery banks. Once I've got this wheel running on quite a few runs and I know I can do 110 volts with no problem, then we'll switch over to the power inverter on the input battery banks and remove the Variac transformer from the equation. The other thing I have is, you can see here, I have this post of bulbs, and I also have another inverter on the output side of the battery banks. I hope we get some decent lighting in here. I'm in my garage and it's kind of a gray day out. So anyway, so this power inverter is connected to the output battery banks down here, the 3 batteries down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn this on once the wheel is running, the lights, to see if the draw on the lights has any effect on the wheel. I did a test, and I can tell you up front, while the motor's not running and not making any noise, that it has a slight draw, but then the wheel just picks up and starts recharging back up again. All right. That's pretty much it. So a lot of hopping around, a lot of jittering. So sit back, enjoy the view. Here we go. Like I said, we're gonna start at 84 volts. This has got me a little bit perplexed. I have 26 volts on the wheel configuration. This is volts after the input caps. So technically what's happening is that right here, this negative line is registering 26 volts, even though I got the motor turned off. So we're not gonna go over the schematic. Those of you on the forum know how to read the schematic. I'm not crazy about that, but you know what? I'm doing everything just like I was told and designed. We're gonna do this by the books. I do have a question for Technomancer. When this is all said and done, it has to do with voltage bleeding backwards from the output battery banks, but I'm gonna cover all that in the forum. Here we go. Ready? So we got to give this a spin manually, right? And here we go. I also got to get it turning quite a bit, right? And firing it up. Okay, while that wheel's firing up, we got 82 volts on the input side, and now we have an even matching, let me back up, 82 volts after the input capacitors. Wheel is turning. Now, I'm going to go on record saying, listen, I couldn't get this wheel to turn until I had at least 5 coils mounted. There's 9 coils at this point, okay? So there was really no way for me to test each coil at a time. The only way I was able to test it is to make sure that there wasn't, as Technomancer mentioned in the forum, nothing sparking, nothing overheating. And once I got past my first coil, which caused a slight spark on the negative side of the battery, on this connection right there, just a really teeny spark. Other than that, there were no sparks anywhere. I'm stoked because I'm actually using my new control boards to control the resistors and setting up and how it's all feeding into the chips. Technomancer slapped me on the hand and says, hey, don't post that until you know it's working, but I'll post that later. Here we go. All right, now we're gonna start taking some readings. There's gonna be a point here where I'm gonna have to be quiet so you can hear it actually stepping up. Right now, let's take a reading. Come on, let's go. Do this. All right, 113 RPMs at 82 volts. All right, this is actually pretty cool because when this thing steps up, and when I say step up, you're actually going to hear it kind of like moving to another level. You could actually hear it roaring, okay? Garage doors open, so there might be some side traffic from the street. Here we go. We're going to start stepping this up. 82 volts. I'm going to take this baby up to 90 volts, and I'm going to sit back and listen. Whenever you hear me saying it's stepping up, it's actually kind of like, I don't know, jumping to another level, and it's actually getting more spin. Here we go. There's a step there. Let's take a reading. 139 RPMs. 90 volts. Remember, per the configuration, this thing is supposed to be running at 110 volts off a pure sine inverter per the schematic. But the Variac is a great idea to test it. All right, let's take a heat reading on the chips. All right, this is kind of tough to do with one hand. 72 degrees. The chips were actually reading at 80 degrees when I finally got this thing up to 110 volts last night. All right, so I apologize if it's not focusing, but we got to do a lot of jumping around here. That's 73, 73, cool to the touch. Actually, it's pretty cool, but then again, it's cool down here right about now. Stepping up, you can hear it stepping up. It's climbing. Tachometer reading. Sorry for the glare. 181. Climbing. 186. 188. 190. Still climbing. And this is just 90 volts, people. 194. Still climbing. 96. As soon as it breaks 200, I'm going to bump up the voltage another 5 volts. Guys, remember, I'm no electrician. I joined the forum just like everybody else. All right? 205. Still climbing. It's stepping up. Let me back up. Music to my ears. We're 8 minutes, 35 seconds into the video. I'm going to post this whole video when it's ready. Stepping up. You can hear it. Another speed test. 221. All right, let's bump the voltage. We're at 89 volts. Here we go. We're going to take it to a full 95 volts. Loving my meter box. All right, here it's stepping. Let me back up. My wheel is not true, but it's good enough. Nine minutes, 27 seconds into the video. Climbing. Another tachometer test. Here we go. Tachometer read. 244. If memory serves me, when I was doing this last night, I got it almost up to 400 RPMs. 400 plus. I didn't quite make the 800 that Technomancer has. The only thing I can think of is that my wheel is really heavy. It's made of MDF wood. So is Technomancer's, but MDF is a pretty heavy wood. There it is, it's stepping up. Hope you can hear that. 10 minutes, 11 seconds. Heat reading. Sorry for all the jumping around, but we got to do this. 73 degrees, 73, 73, 74, 74. Cool to the touch. Cables aren't hot. Let's test the heat on the shaft. Sorry about that. 72 degrees. Actually all room temperature. More readings. 74, 74. Still climbing. You can hear it. I'm stoked. 271. Climbing. Not a lot of wobbling on the shaft. A little bit of wobbling that I got there is just that my it was an MDF wheel I had laying around for the since the beginning of the project. I'm pretty excited. I don't know if you can see that, but my cores aren't being pulled. There's a 1/4 inch gap between the wheel and the coils. Now I did put super glue all on the face of them. You can see that right there. None of the coils look like they're being yanked out of the coil, so that was one of my biggest fears. Let me see if I can get in there. Still climbing. Tachometer reading 283, climbing. This will break 300 any minute. 95 volts. Let's juice this baby up. We're going to take it to 100 volts. There we go, 100 volts. I will take this to 110 volts. Tachometer reading 294. This will break 300 any second. Climbing. Hope you can see that. 296. 298. Climbing. 300. Another heat test. 73. 73. It didn't quite get to 80 degrees until they were running at 110 volts. These are higher end chips, and I'm excited that they're working, and my little control boards worked first time out. I'm a measure twice, cut once kind of guy. All right, still climbing. Let's hear it step. There it is. You can hear it. Folks, 100 volts before the caps and after the caps. Now it's going to start making some noise. Hopefully you can still hear me over this. Another tachometer reading. 319. I got it up to 360 something last night, if memory serves me. We still got 10 volts to go. Still climbing. 324, 325. Remember, per Technomancer, we still haven't taken advantage of the shaft where we can attach a generator, low drag generator. That's going to come next. We need to talk about generators, and we need to talk about storage devices. So I see the big picture. It's humming. Folks, just for the record, I had one minor problem, which I'm not going to bore you with the details on, with a resistor that I had on the input side of the power. Dumb me, I should have never put that thing in there, but once I took that thing out, this thing worked first time out. It's humming. Still climbing. 330, 330. All right, let's add 5 more volts. Here we go. Variac controller being turned to 105. You can hear it stepping. We're gonna do a tachometer test. What do we got? Come on. 337, 336. Come on, let's do this. 341. Still climbing. 342. Let's go through the meters. 12.2 on the output at the batteries on the output side. It's measuring 12.23 coming out of the output caps. And this is before the output caps, this is after the output caps. So the caps, I'm losing 0.06, which is nothing. Here, now you can hear it. Still stepping. We're 15 minutes into this video. 346, 348, come on. 349. I got it up to 360 something. I got 5 more volts to go. Let's do a heat test. 74. I don't know if this gun's really working, but I was testing it last night and it was. All right. 72, 72, 79. There you go. They were running about 80 degrees last night. 80 degrees is nothing, folks. That's San Diego weather. Okay, nothing there. Let's take a heat test on the coil. I'm shooting the coil, 73, nothing crazy there. 72, still climbing. Sorry for all the jumping around, but we got to do this. 358, I got it up to 3 something. All right, let's do this. 5 more volts. We'll take it to 110 and stop there. There we go, 6, 8. I'm going to use the voltage after the input caps, not necessarily before the input caps. So 8, 9, come on people, 10, here we go. All right, you can hear stepping. Let me get back up. This wheel is not true. If this wheel were true, I'd probably get more RPMs. Now that I know it's working, we'll start enhancing the project. Come on. 371, 369. That's more than what I got yesterday. Still climbing. 373. Come on. Holding at 373. Technomancer, I'm not getting quite the 800 you were getting. That could be a lot of reasons. I have a funny feeling that the resistors, I may be able to drop them a little bit to get more amperage. I don't know if that makes any sense or even saying that right, but based on all the videos. 375. I was only getting 368 last night. I can squeeze 1 more volt out of this. Let me take it to 110. 111. Let's stop there. Climbing. Tachometer test. 370. There you go. That's what I got it up to last night. 368. Uh-oh. Nope. Nope, still climbing. There we go. 360. All right, let's go to the next step. Let's put a draw on the output battery banks. Battery banks is 12.3, 12.26. As soon as I turn on the lamps, that number should go down. We're going to start off slow. Turn on the inverter. I got 2 bulbs. 1213, 1212, 1211, 1210. The bulbs are pulling a draw, right? That's not a lot, but then again, they're only 15 watts. Let's bump this up. 2 more bulbs. Still climbing. 349, 353. Coming out after the output caps, 11.91. That number will go back up. That number will go back up once you stabilize again. I'm gonna throw all the bulbs at it. Here we go. I got 2, 4, 6, 7, 15 watt bulbs drawing on the output battery bank. Come on, let's do this. 344, 345. Folks, this is it. There's other things that can be done. Let's let it run for 2 more minutes. We're 20 minutes into this video. Another heat test. I keep going to the same chips, it's just easier right here. 72, 73. Folks, this thing is not even being scraped. Let's gun one of these coils. Coil itself is nothing. I don't see any movement on my solid cores. That had me concerned, but then again, it's only been running for about an hour. Sorry about all the twisting and turning. I don't know if you can see that. It's humming. Let's do a heat test on this side. 73. Last night they were running at 79, but then again I was in my garage, so there we go. 79, 74. Nothing, folks, nothing. Let's see what the batteries are doing, if they're doing anything crazy. Come on. Nope. 72 degrees. I don't see anything swelling up. 11.82 on the output side. All right, those numbers will actually climb back up, which proves to me that this thing is pulsing out. All right, 21 minutes into the video. Last tachometer test, 338. 339, that's the best she's gonna do. I may have to change the resistors. What I mean by changing the resistors, folks, is those little babies right there and drop the resistance. But I'll, as always, check with Technomancer to see if that makes sense. All right, folks, that's it. The motor's running. I've been on this thing for 1,123 days. Not that anybody's counting. We're shutting it down. There you go. 22-minute run. Last night, I ran it multiple times, 30 minutes each, just double checking everything so I could shoot this video. Like I said, 1,123 days into this project. It's been fun, Technomancer. We're gonna continue on. We need to do low drag generators. We need to do high capacity storage devices. I'm along for the ride. Folks, at ZeroPointFuel, thanks for your support. Lyso, if you're still around, we'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to be posting some details about what I want to do next to improve this thing. I got to talk to Technomancer about how to get more torque out of this thing or more speed. Maybe it is changing the resistors. And that's it. It's been a fun ride. Stay tuned to more videos. This is G47 for ZeroPointFuel. We are out.